So, just about to head into the scariest night of my entire life. But before we do that, there was one thing that I missed out during the day that was leading up to my psychosis. If you haven't been over the whole journey so far, you'll have to go back and watch the 2 previous videos that lead up to this one, because you're going to have to watch it for the background and it's sort of a progression of where I go with my psychosis. So we're leading up to the scariest night of my entire life, but first we have to rewind to the day before I'd gone to the neighbour's house, before the police had come, and before my missus had saved me and taken me back home, leading up to the scariest night of my entire life. So one of the tangents that I went on that day was actually organising a meeting back in Hamilton, all the way from Dargaville back in Hamilton. I had contacted 2 people. So I had contacted a guy, Mikey Watson. I'll just get confirmation that I can say their names before I put it out there on videos. So I contacted Mike Watson and I contacted Matthew Matic, and I was ringing them so that we could meet in Hamilton at Hamilton Boys High School with the 3 wise men, and that was part of the whiteboards as well. So the 3 wise men are Tama Dean, Nigel Hotham, Greg Kirkham. The meeting was to be at 12 p.m. the next day, so I'd be back in Hamilton and I'd be able to sort this meeting out with them to fix what was wrong with rugby. Now, other people that were going to be part of this meeting were also Bowden Barrett. He was going to be part of it because he's a big part of NZRU, a big part of rugby, and he'd know what to do. The other people that were hello, how are you? Other people that were going to be involved were my dad, my 2 brothers, and also my best mate Cam. So I was going to have everyone sit down in Nigel Hotham's office to come up with this plan to somehow fix rugby, give the power back to the community, give the power back to club rugby, help develop club rugby in a pathway to professionalism straight out of club. That was where my mind was going with that. But yeah, all these people were going to be part of this meeting, and the psychosis was about dealing with those issues and going into it. So what we were going to do was sit down in a room, sit down on the round table, draw things up, organise everything and get things ready to go so that we could present it to the clubs. You know, I had like a North Island versus South Island game going, a national club competition going after the club competition, a national club team being picked, you know, all of that kind of stuff was going through my head because I was trying to get it away from all of the professional stuff and, you know, giving up our power to these people that use us. So that was where my mind was going. I have ChatGPT'd this and asked for a diagnosis on this and why I would go to those extremes, and it gave me a pretty interesting answer, which I'll share this, not on this video, but I'll share these later. Yeah, so I was up north. I'd been escalating for a few days, hadn't been sleeping, been smoking marijuana, and my worries and doubts and fears were all coming to the forefront. And I had taken off that night. You'd have to go back to the other videos, like I said earlier, to catch up if you haven't. I'd taken off that night, gone to the neighbours, things happened there, come back to my missus' house, and I don't know this, but I'm in for the scariest, most terrifying night of my entire life, like that I would wish on nobody. My mind took me to places I didn't think it could go. Things were happening inside my brain chemically I didn't understand. Anyway, we've got to go back. We're going back. I'm getting taken too far down that route. So here we are. Scariest night of my entire life. Things got even worse for me at home with my missus. And this is how it went. By this point, I had bolted from my partner's family home, taken off into the darkness, into the farms, gone to the neighbours, had all these things, psychosis, pre-psychosis things happening, all of these themes playing out, highs, lows, nothing in between, just constantly up and down. Had physical things happening like my heart rate intensifying, my temperature going up, absolute panic states, things playing in my head that weren't real, situations that were occurring that, you know, were full fantasy situations, weren't actually happening. So yeah, I was saved by my partner. I avoided going with the police, which would have been the worst thing, like I said on the previous video. Saw how coherent I was and how calm I'd become once my partner had got there. And so we take off home, a couple hundred meters down the road. And we get home, you know, everything's fine. I'm wondering what the heck just happened there. What was all that stuff I was experiencing? You know, I'm conscious at this point thinking, what the hell was that? And we go to bed, and I'm just still in that fight or flight state. And my missus is trying to calm me down, trying to get me to bed, trying to get me to go to sleep. And I think, you know, the delusions start playing in my head already. And I'm constantly wanting to go for a piss. So I'm constantly like getting up out of bed, going for a piss out on the deck. And I'm just constantly up and down, and you know, and my missus starts saying she's scared at that point. She's scared that I'm going to run off again into the dark. She's scared that I'm going to bolt again. So she's saying things like, you know, oh, outside, the lights outside, there's scary things out there, you can't go out there. And I'm starting to take all this information on and go, what is, this is what I remember anyway. She said, to what I remember, you know, this is what I remember. So babe, if I get this wrong, sorry. So she said, you know, you have to lie down, you have to keep your eyes closed. If you don't keep your eyes closed, you know, the demons or whatever are going to see you. And, you know, that just made me so terrified. And I just shut my eyes. Everything was still on, like I could not sleep. My soul levels were through the roof. Adrenaline is pumping through me, through the roof from what happened earlier. And, you know, I'm just wired and I cannot sleep, and I'm just shutting my eyes because I can't open them or else the demons are gonna see us. And then I started picturing, you know, we're in the sleep out outside in the garage. And I started picturing all these demons and things that were swirling around outside in the dark, because I wasn't allowed to go outside the light. That's where all the bad things were that were going to get me. And then things started to escalate from there, where my missus was just probably lying down going to sleep. I was just like stuck on those thoughts like, oh no, there's scary things out there. Oh, there's demons. And I actually thought demons were swirling around, coming and checking to see if I was there, see if they could get me. Yeah, so terrified the entire night. And as the night went on, like I was just awake the whole night, and delusions were just playing in my head, so they just kept going round and round. And you know, the scary stuff was happening, and then my missus, you know, trying to keep me in bed, trying to keep me there. Then I started believing that my missus was pregnant, and I started thinking that she could only have this baby if I kept my hand on her stomach the entire night, kept my eyes closed. I was there just, and I was going to impregnate her by just having my hand there and having my hand on her stomach. And you know, that Jesus theme came back into it, you know, the Virgin Mary or something. I don't know what it was, but I thought that we were going to have this baby and it was going to be a girl. And then yeah, I was just lying there the entire night. I had to keep my hand on her stomach, you know, to the point that it was summertime, we were sweating, and I had to keep my eyes closed, couldn't open them. If I opened them one time, I'd failed the mission and everything had failed. It was a failure, and we'd be, you know, held accountable, killed or something. But yeah, I went fully into panic mode that night, and it was so terrifying. I managed to get through the night. I think I might have got 5 or 10 minutes sleep, and I was up early in the morning. That morning my missus decided, you know, you have to go, you have to leave, you can't be here, you've got to go home. So and I had broken up with her the night before. I'd said, you know, I can't be with you, I don't want to be here, I'm not allowed to be with you, we're broken up. So I done that. And as I was leaving, you know, delusions started playing again, and I started because the day before I was yelling out that her mum was evil. I was yelling out, your mum's evil, blah blah blah, she's so evil, because I thought she had drugged me. And I remembered that in the morning, and all the car was packed for me, ready to go. And then I started throwing things out the car again, like these photos I had of my son, throwing them out, saying, I don't need these photos because, every photo that I have of my son is in my memories. I don't need these things, these physical things. And I started throwing everything away. And they mean nothing to me, I organically see my son and, all this kind of stuff. And, and I was driving off away from my partner's home. So I stopped the car in the middle of the paddock and I yelled out to my missus, babe, tell your mum I'm sorry, she's not the problem. And, we always joke about that now. But yeah, I was sent on my way, and they were probably terrified of what happened that night. And I think I had $100 or something in my bank account, and I was supposed to go pick up my son in Hamilton and spend time with him. And I'm on the way there, so I'm leaving Dargaville, and then that's when things started happening more. That's when delusion started playing out, because I still hadn't slept in 4 days, plus that terrifying night with the adrenaline and all the chemicals in the brain going, and then I still didn't sleep again, terrified out my head. I had about 10 minutes sleep, and then I'm back on the road driving. That's a recipe for psychosis. It's for disaster. I'm on the road, delusions are escalating again, and I'm back on the mission. And I'm seeing signs, I'm hearing voices, and they're telling me what to do, where I need to go, and how I need to fix things.